it is here, Mr. Javier.
Hey, what's up?
Look at this thing.
Don't stall, don't stall, don't stall.
So Javier goes into 2021 and scoops himself up another FRS. But this is not any ordinary FRS. It is a pretty special one. Woo! Wow!
That was 35 miles an hour. It's a twin disc.
Twin disc clutch, okay. I can tell you're struggling a little bit. If Jess were here, she would stall.
I think you would stall too.
Yeah, probably.
It's very like instant.
You feel like a newbie manual driver.
I do. Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, not bad.
I mean, I've been practicing.
Yeah. You might be thinking 500 wheel is quite a bit of power to be putting through an FA20, and you are not wrong.
Yeah.
We are on our way to go pick up some good old E85 since this thing is tuned on the corn. I'm telling you, this is probably one of the cleanest FRSs out there. So yeah, Javier's new FRS, well, BRZ, whatever, is insane. It is so fast. Pop the hood, Javi. Let's see what you're working with.
There we go.
So what do we got here, Javi?
Bill FA20 from I think it was out front. Got a JDL turbo kit, CD09 trans swap, and there's just a lot. So
yeah,
hopefully you include the parts list and do like
yeah,
scroll down through it. There's a lot done.
Yeah, Javi picked it up from one of his friends that put so much money into this car, and he got such a good deal on it. It was just something he could not pass up, and I am so stoked he got it. It reminds me of what my FRS used to be. I mean, obviously we didn't have it turboed back then, but it's funny to compare the two. This has all the money in the engine. This has all the money in the body kit, and I think I'd much rather have something like this.
Yeah, it's quick.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And what's sick is that it has an unequal length manifold, so it sounds like a typical Subaru, which is awesome. Javi's gonna start it up for us so we can hear. What exhaust is on it? Desed Motorsports, yeah. I know what you're talking about, yeah. Yeah, that sounds so good. How many miles on it?
Engine or chassis?
Engine.
4,000?
4,000, and then chassis has?
74.
74. This is definitely making me think what I would want to do with my FRS. We have the SBD 500X on it. It puts down a healthy 400-ish wheel, but it's still the stock FA20, which is a ticking time bomb, let's just be honest. But to see this level of engine modification and knowing how much an out front motorsports block costs, 12K-ish about?
Yeah.
Definitely puts things into perspective as far as, is it worth an engine swap here? You can just see how ugly it is under here, just for a difference. Ugh. Nice. Oh, the hood.
Saved you.
I'm genuinely impressed with the overall build quality of this thing and how fast it is. You got yourself a nice car, Javi.
It's fast.
Not to mention, Javi had an FRS, what, 6 months ago?
Yeah, around there.
And now he's back in one, which I think is kind of, it's gone full circle. Javi, you want to race? You'll beat me.
Yeah?
But I don't care. I will blow this sucker up in a race with you.
If I don't stall from the
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Well, sounds like a plan. We'll race one of these days once I get the FRS all done.
Yeah. 3 years later.
Right. In other news, yes, I have the FRS out. Decided to pull it out of the garage. I really need to get all this dust off, but I've just been focusing on getting the garage all cleaned out. This week, I'm going to be building the PVC structure for our makeshift paint booth. Gingium, you might know him as another automotive YouTuber. He did a video on something similar, and we'll be taking some inspiration from him. Before we can even get there, I still have a bunch of cleaning and organizing of the garage to do. But it was nice to pull this thing out of the garage here at Run. I did try driving it around the neighborhood. That didn't go so well because I had no visibility out of this thing. Let's go ahead and start her up. Yeah, I think I'm in some type of limp mode. I can't rev it any higher than 4,000 RPM. But yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on the garage some more. Run to Lowe's to pick up all of the materials for our makeshift booth, and I will check in with you a little bit later on. All right, a little bit of change of plans. Instead of getting the paint booth set up in the garage, we went ahead and swapped out angle kits. The FDF Mega Mantis to the Wisefab kit. The Mega Mantis kit was great for what it's worth, and I think the guys over at FDF are doing a lot of great things, but I just wanted to change things up on the Z. It drove fine on the Mega Mantis at the Freedom Factory Drift event. Make sure to check out the last video if you haven't already. But so many of my friends have said, oh, you need to try Wisefab. Since Zs are becoming such a popular drift platform, over the last couple of years, I'll give Wisefab a shot, and then I'll give you guys an unbiased review of the two. The guys over at Drift HQ were able to source me this kit, and we were gonna try to get it on before the Freedom Factory event, but just got delayed in shipping. And to spare you guys the whole process of installing it, I've basically already done that. I will say I have a rack relocated subframe, so I did have to come up with a custom tie rod setup, which I'll show you. First off, here is the old rack spacer setup. If you're new to drifting or if you don't know much about it, you'll see a lot of guys swapping out these rack spacers for rack relocated setups, only because when you offset the forces on your rack as this attaches to the knuckle, it can tweak and just create some weird moments on the steering rack that ultimately will degrade the life of your rack. And because we just went through this whole process of changing out the power steering pump and the steering rack itself, I wanted to make sure that we had the best and most reliable setup on the car. And although I already put the tie rod boot over and clamped it down, I am utilizing inner tie rod from a 2006 Nissan Maxima. Those tie rods are 13 inches long. And after taking some preliminary measurements, I knew that was gonna be just about the length that I was gonna need. I am still using the FDF rack spacer, so that adds another probably 1.5 inches or 2. So you will need those if you're trying to replicate this setup. And if you are looking to get your rack relocated, hit up my boy Andrew Huffman. He had done this custom setup for me about 2 years ago, and it is still holding up. So it'll be interesting to see how the Z feels with the Wisefab. And one little tip I would like to give you all is how to clamp down your tie rod boot on your steering rack. So what I think a lot of people try to mistakenly do is use a metal cable tie to attach the tie rod boot. But if you run to an O'Reilly's or a Napa Auto Parts and ask for some CV clamps or CV boot clamps and the appropriate tool, what this allows you to do is to get a much tighter clamping force than your standard cable tie. This is a used one, but you can see what you essentially do. Wrap it around, engage it on one of its teeth, and then this isn't typically crushed like that since this is used. But then what you do, you put the tool over it, you clamp it down, it pinches this excess piece of metal and creates a super tight seal or just connection. I've tried many times in the past to use a metal cable tie, and the tie rod boot would always just pop off. But you can get this, I think I got it from O'Reilly's for 12 bucks. And then you can get an assortment of CV boot clamps for, you know, 10 bucks or so at Napa. Yeah, just a little life pro tip here. I still might need to play with the height adjustment up front. I lowered it about a half an inch from when I had the Mega Mantis on. I think it looks good, but one issue I'm thinking I might run into is how low the lower control arm sits. Can't really see it there, but there's a little hump on the lower control arm that just gets it a little bit closer to the ground, which is a little bit frightening, or maybe not frightening, just concerning, considering the fact that I'm gonna have Jess behind the wheel of this thing to learn how to drift. She dips off course, 100%, that's gonna be the first thing that scrapes, and that wouldn't be good. So far, so good. It might be a little cockeyed to the left as far as the steering wheel straightness is concerned. That was my fault doing the toe plate alignment. I'll just need to take it to my boy Dro to fix. Yep, sure is Wisefab right there. I will say on the FDF kit, I had to run a 25mm spacer to clear the knuckle. And on here, I only threw a 5mm spacer just to give us a little bit more space between the lip of the wheel and the knuckle itself. This is an 18 by 9.5 plus 15. So our effective offset is 18 by 9.5 plus 10. Yeah, it drives nice and straight. Pretty stoked on that. Of course, you guys know, we gotta give it a quick rip. Yeah, she feels pretty good. It will definitely be interesting to see how the car feels when we get it out at OSW. But until then, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Make sure to stay tuned. We're gonna be building that paint booth setup this weekend, 100%. If I don't get it done, then you guys can be super mad at me. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.